My good friend Dr. Grant Turnwald had asked me a couple times to see if I would go down with him to see the Friends for Folks program. And the deal is this, is that my dad was in the FBI for 30 years, and I got to see what often happened with the victims of these crimes. And it was very difficult for me to make the decision to go down to the prison where most of the inmates are, in for life, or they're close to it. So anyway, I had to really think about it hard, and I just, when I have a tough decision, I usually pray. And so I prayed about it and asked for help, and what came to me was that this is the right thing to do. This is what, as a veterinarian, this is a program that I felt had a lot of merit, and so I decided, well, I would go ahead and give it a try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And so I went ahead and went down with Dr. Turnwald, and he and I toured the whole place with the warden, and I fell in love with the program. As soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it. And Fergie here, she's an actual graduate from the program. She was from Second Chance, and then she was taken in by the inmates, and they trained her, and she became one of our pets a number of years ago, and she's been a great friend and great pet. So that's kind of the story of how I got started with it. It was a very difficult decision, though. It was one that I did not make quickly, that's for sure. But once I saw the program, I absolutely fell in love with it, and it's become very dear to my heart.
There's not a lot of money in this field, but there's a lot of satisfaction in this field. And it just, you're able to sleep at night when you're able to help a dog.
Second Chance saved over 700 dogs from death last year. They rescued Freedom and her pups the night they were to be euthanized, and removed over 1 pound of ticks from Freedom. Goliath was going to be euthanized because no shelter could spare the funds to buy his heartworm treatment medicine. Second Chance employees bought that medicine with their own money, and now he has a home.
I'm proudest of the fact that we continue to work as hard as we can to save as many dogs as we can, to be sure that they find new wonderful homes, and in any way we can collaborate with all of the shelters and rescues in this area, because we're all in this together. And if we collectively work together, we can end the euthanization of beautiful dogs and cats every year who simply have no home to go to. That's everybody's goal that works in rescue.
He was labeled as aggressive, and the fear was that he was a biter. So he went from what might be labeled as aggressive to licking my throat with me having no fear of that. I know.
When I get to come in every day and look at these faces, and they know I care, this is what keeps me going. These little guys like this. And we do have rough days. We have great days as well, but when we do, this is our medicine. This keeps us going, those kisses.
When we rescue an animal from a shelter, we sometimes get one that is so traumatized, they need a lot of tender, loving care. An organization and a program like Lee's at Lexington Prison Friends for Folks, we can take a dog to them. That dog now lives with one person 24/7, begins to learn to trust, begins to basic obedience, then becomes an adoptable dog, not a problem dog. The winners for all of this is the family who adopts the dog. For us, we provided training free of charge because they don't charge us. They fed our dog, they took care of our dog, and now we get to adopt the dog, and then we get to take another one out there. Everybody wins.
I mean, there's no way to describe that feeling. You're in one of the best fields in the world against the best dogs in the world, and you win. It just doesn't get much better than that. I love dogs. To be honest with you, I could never see myself in this life without a dog. We're seeing a lot more no-kill shelters, and I just think organizations such as Second Chance and other no-kill shelters is going to be the wave of the future, because people are seeing that, you know, you don't need to go out and buy a pedigree dog. You can rescue a dog that's going to be just as good a friend. I still can't get over it. I'll be bringing a dog in here. I'll be bringing 2 or 3 Second Chance dogs in. Our dogs from other rescue organizations, and the offenders will meet me up front with the dogs, and the dogs will be pulling me, and I give them to the guys up front. we take these dogs in, they're just jerking us down here, and then 2-3 weeks later, these dogs are walking around this track obediently, doing some of this agility equipment. It just still blows my mind that it's the same dog. It's just incredible. And I just get a big old kick out of that. And then when they find a good home, I even get a bigger kick out of that. The positive changes are definitely with the guys in the program. It gives them a responsibility, taking care of something, loving something, because there's not much love in a place like a prison. And it gives them something that they can show unconditional love for, and the dog shows unconditional love to them.
It gives dogs a second chance. You know, a lot of the ones that come from rescue organizations and stuff, some are on death row. Like this one here is from the pound. She got adopted from the pound, and the lady that had her couldn't handle her. So if she ever gets caught out on the streets again by the pound, they'll put her down. So this program, you know, it saves dogs' lives, which is very, very important. As far as I'm concerned, or the guys in the program, it helps us because, you know, we did a lot of wrong when we was out on the streets. A lot of wrong, we took a lot, we just roguish individuals, a lot of us were. This gives us a chance to give back. And like I said, seeing joy to some of the people that we train the dogs when they come in and see their dog, they sit, you know, let them pet instead of tackling them. The joy that brings, that really helps me, and I know it helps the others too. So it gives us a lot of joy knowing that we're able to give back positive now. You know, some of us, we made our mistakes and have changed, and it helps us get through day to day. It really does.
We've both been in this program going on 6 years, right around 6 years, and it feels empty without the dog. You know, we've become accustomed to sharing the cell with between 2 and 3 dogs at a time, and so it's regular to have them for us.
Up, lazy. Over here, come here. Sit. Shake. Hey, high five. Come here. I didn't say go say hi. Over here. Sit. Lay down. Up. You getting all happy for it, huh? Really, every day is a good day with the dog. You know, you got a dog, every day is a good day. It just helps you relieve a lot of stress, get away from all the madness. You get just as much love back as you put into it. A lot of times more.
This was a rescue dog. We have this dog until they find an owner. It used to get hunted by foxes and wild animals. It's got like some bumps on him from where it got bit.
Missing some ribs.
Yeah, it's missing ribs.
Yeah, she's
been
tore up. She's been through a lot.
But she'll make somebody a really good home whenever somebody decides to adopt her. That's what we're hoping happens. She gets adopted.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
She's a tiny terrier.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
He just came from Lake Stranded Draper, which got caught in a dog trap out there. So Dogs for Family brought him in for us to work with.
Go to bed is a real good one. Go to bed. Because a lot of people, especially if they have an indoor dog, if they're doing something like, say they're cooking in the kitchen or they're trying to do something, they don't want the dog underfoot. So go to bed is one of the best things I feel that you could teach a dog, and that's perfect in here. He's had as many as probably like 2 or 3 dogs in the bed with him at one time, where he's been crunched up and all the dogs was over the bed.
They take over.
Yeah.
They really do take over sometimes. He's just now learning how to work, walk on a leash, and just the attention or just the touch, really. He just really wasn't used to the touch, and he's getting that. And just all the loving that he's getting, it's gonna help him. Huh, Freckles? Freckles wants some more attentions. Freckles, go up. Stop. Good boy. Go up. Start. Easy. Start. Easy. Come here. Stop. Sit. Good sit, boy. Good sit. Freckles, go up.
Good boy. Stop. Good boy.
It just still amazes me, as long as I've been around dogs, how you can have these semi-wild dogs. 2 days later, you've seen the inmates are walking them around. They're actually petting them. They're doing really well. You would never ever dream that that was that same dog that was probably running wild less than 3 weeks ago. It's just very amazing.
Over the years, man, I know we've placed hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of dogs to homes that needed it. We placed dogs with children with wheelchairs or disabilities. We've placed dogs, like I said, with the therapeutics. We've helped do the basic obedience for their training. You know, some of these dogs are on their last legs, so we're in a sense saving their lives, and they're giving us purpose. You know, they're giving us purpose while we're here, and I mean that in itself is a blessing to us. Man, this program is really just about I mean, to me, it's giving back. I've taken so much in my lifetime from the community and from my loved ones, and you know, I know my family, they're proud of me for giving back, and they enjoy that I'm in this program. As a matter of fact, I actually got to train my uncle's dog, who they were going to end up getting rid of. She had bit my cousin in the face and in the neck and got him real bad, and if it weren't for him saying it wasn't the dog's fault, they would have killed her. And they sent her out here, and I ended up training that dog, and they've never had a problem since, and it actually worked out real good for her. She's no longer aggressive towards people or dogs, and it's just been a blessing to their family. And I mean, that right there, to be able to get back to my own family within this program was a huge blessing.
He helps me with patience. He helps me to see that the reason that an animal acts the way that it does is because of its environment that it came from. The reason that this dog doesn't walk well yet on a leash is because it was never taken out of a cage and walked on a leash. The reason it won't come to you when you call it is because no one ever called it to come to it. It was just in a cage and used for breeding purposes and just making money. It showed me that regardless of background though, regardless of where you come from, you can rise. You can become very good at something. You can excel. Just because you come from a puppy mill or low income or whatever, that is not what chains you down. What chains you down is your mind.
That you're not just helping the dogs, you're helping the inmates too. And some people may not like that idea, but you know, I would rather have an inmate that's rehabilitated go out in the world and do something positive than to think that no one cares and go back out there and come right back, because that ain't helping nobody. I look forward to getting back to my family, but some people, they don't have nothing. But if they can do something like this, then go out in the world and say, you know what, I did something positive in there, I can do something positive out there too. If I can do it here, I can do it there.
First of all, of course, before being accepted for this program, they've got to have, you know, promising behavior for the good. And so when they are able to pass that hurdle, then they can come here, and now they put themselves into something that is beyond themselves, outside themselves, to care for the dog. And they invest themselves in the dog, and they get a return on their investment from the dog. The dog takes affection from them and returns the affection to them. So they have something going on, a relationship, a two-way street here of affection and love and caring for one another. And I think that in itself will sometimes take the hardened heart and soften it.
You have people who don't have skills. You have people who potentially have, because they've been incarcerated maybe for a property crime or a drug crime, and they know that culture, the likelihood that they will re-enter it is very, very high, statistically extremely high. This isn't my opinion, it's a statistical fact. So they will become a recidivist. They will reoffend and reoffend because it is a way of making a living. This program has given everyone a new lease on life because they develop a skill that can be marketable. If you come out of prison and you have a skill and you can earn a living wage and you can contribute to society economically, that gives you value as a human being, but it also makes you part of the larger community.
In order to train the pets, you had to be extremely patient, because a lot of these animals come from very tough backgrounds, much like the inmates. They've been abandoned, they've been abused, and so they're not very attentive a lot of times. And so for the inmate to work with the pet and to be able to teach the pet to do these commands and stuff, they have to be patient. And they have to, and the inmate also has to become teachable themselves, just like the pet. And then there has to be cooperation with the other pets. So it's a process. It doesn't happen all at once, but it's a process that goes on, and it's a transforming process.
As far as anything about Star, I just know he was very proud of getting that award for her. Daddy was just very proud because I think this program really changed him, and to me, don't get me wrong, he was certainly always a good daddy, but it changed his thought processes about how you do things and how you live life, and so that in essence it ended up changing him, and he came out, he was a better daddy, you know, he was a better person.
Sit. Can you speak for me? Star was 4 months old when I met her. She just a little long-legged pup when I got it. It's just cute as could be.
Marvin Perry will always remember the day Star walked into his life.
My baby girl, aren't you? Huh? You my baby girl?
He was an inmate at the Lexington Assessment and Reception Center serving a 50-year sentence for murder. Sergeant Tracy Beckelheimer had rescued Star from an animal shelter in Norman and brought her to the prison to enroll her in the Friends for Folks animal training program.
He stopped at the gate and turned her loose and she just come jump right in my arms. I'd never met her before. I never had anything to do with her. And from that day on, we was good buddies. Easy, stop, back, sit. Good girl.
The unlikely pair developed an instant bond and spent the next 4 years together, 24 hours a day.
Gil, good girl.
Marvin trained Star and saw she had a knack for tracking people.
There was nowhere on that compound that I could hide that she couldn't find me. Look in here. Close. Look close.
On September 24th, 2002, Sergeant Beckelheimer took Star on her first real hunt. She was an immediate success.
She actually found a lady that had Alzheimer's that wandered off an Alzheimer's unit at a nursing home and was gone for about 9 hours, and Star was able to find her in 20 minutes.
She did what other tracking dogs, search crews, and a helicopter could not. And for that heroic act, Star received the Hero Award this year and was recently inducted into the Oklahoma Animal Hall of Fame.
Marvin, on behalf of the Oklahoma Veterinary Medical Association, I'd like to give you this plaque and award for Star for all the work she's done and all the work you've done. Congratulations.
Marvin says meeting Star was a turning point in his life, and even though they've been separated for the past year since he was transferred to the Oklahoma City Community Correctional Center, he says she's still his inspiration.
It leaves me with no excuses when I get out. It leaves me with no excuse. There's no reason why I should ever come back and be incarcerated again. My life has changed completely. I love you, Star. You changed my life.
And had it not been for the change, my father would not have been out of the penitentiary. He would still be here with a life and 50-year sentence. Even though the 50 years had gotten taken off, eventually he would have never come out of here, you know. And so if it only changed that one person to save that one life, to me it's still worthy of being sponsored and keeping the program, because without him I wouldn't have my dad.
Marvin said the hardest one was the first one, when he had to give the first pet up. And I said after that he understood what it meant to give back, and he said it felt good. And so, you know, that's kind of the legacy of the program, is to learning to give and to learning to love and have that kind of unconditional love.
Anytime you express yourself through love, and love an animal, it really has such a healing capacity to it. And I think that's one of the many aspects of this program that probably doesn't get stated too much, but you can see the love for these animals, or I saw the love for these animals that the inmates had, and the tear in their eye when they gave them away to the new owners, and the sense of having done something that is meaningful to someone else's life when perhaps previously they've been in a position to hurt people.
I had a greyhound, and full-blooded greyhound, stubborn, wanted to do his things his way, wanted to do things all his way, and we had our little arguments, but I won out. He trained real good. They told me certain things he couldn't do, like sit straight and this and that, but they came and picked him up and he sat straight, you know. But the best thing, the most rewarding one was that one, because they came, they had a little girl and a little boy, but that little girl was scared of the dog. You know, you can tell he backed off. I said, "You gonna take him for a walk?" She's backing off, looking at me crazy. I said, "Here." I told her what to do. I said, "You say it in a commanding voice and hit that leg." She did it. The dog started walking with her, and she just smiled ear to ear. And that right there was worth all of it. You know, made them happy, made them a family.
My husband and I had a wonderful marriage for 42 years, but we both, almost everything we did it together. So after he died, I really had nothing that was, my children were grown and gone, and so it's a very lonely life. And if you can find a companion dog, a dog that can share your life with you, it just changes everything. You know, it's absolutely a 360-degree change from what my life was before Harley got here. That's what he did when he looked up at me. Like when I said, "Harley, do you want to go home with me?" You looked right up at me, didn't you, Harley? That's just what you did. You laid your head right on my chest. And all the other trainers, it was so funny because they just burst out laughing that Harley was such a beggar. They said, "Harley, you are such a beggar." So that's how I met Harley, and that's how Harley got to be mine. I cannot say enough about Mr. Miller, who trained Harley, because I could just tell that he loved this dog, and Harley's the type of dog that took a lot of patience and a lot of time, and Mr. Miller was just an amazing man to be able to turn Harley into what he is today.
He's going to the Veterans Center there in Norman. He's going to be the resident dog. He's going to have a big area to play in. So he deserves it. He came from Second Chance there in Norman.
When we brought him here, there was no way if somebody would come up to me in the first week and said, "That might be the dog you take to the VA center," I'd have to say, "No, that will not be the dog."
When Sarge first got here, he was a nibbler and a licker and highly energetic. He would never sit this long for us without wanting to lick or bite our hands, you know, playfully, and he would be constantly moving. But little by little, we trained that out of him, and he'll still get hyper, but all you gotta do is say no, and he'll calm just that quick. I'm just glad that he's going where he's going. It's been an honor to train him. Being a vet myself and knowing that he's going to be around him. Yeah. It shows that we care not only about the dogs, but about the community itself, the people in it, and we're trying to do something for them. My view is that it's a privilege to be in the program. I think it means a lot to all of us that are here to know that we can touch lives, you know, in a positive way, that we're rescuing the dogs as well. You know, it just means a lot to us.
Come here. Sorry. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Oh, that's a good boy. That's a good boy.
It'll be a new situation, but as soon as he catches on, he's going to be something else, and he's going to give those veterans out there a lot of joy.
Every step forward is a step to freedom. Yes. Is it too late to change my mind?
What's your mind? What do you mean change your mind?
About sending me out.
He's ready for his next big adventure.
You've been good to them vets out there. Good. Gonna miss you, buddy. Yeah. Oh, that's a good boy. Take care.
Gonna miss that dog. Good time. Every dog we give up. That's how I look at it. Give up. We got to remind ourselves that they're going to a better place. They're going to get a lot of loving and care, you know. So, in that sense, we're glad that they're leaving. But still, it's sad. Of the 18 dogs I've trained, he's number one on my list. Because I really like to have him. He's touched me deeply. I didn't think he would. When he first came in, okay, this is just another dog to train. I'll do the best I can with him. But as the days went by, his personality grew on me. He's a great dog all the way around.
Nice search.
Look at this little guy. Isn't he precious? I bet you're going to be So this is our new friend, Sarge.
So what a way to celebrate having second chance, find this dog that was pretty much cast away, and to bring it into their sanctuary and take care of them, and then go to the prison where we have the dog program down there at Lexington, and have Lee Fairchild, who administrates the program down there at Lexington, and take his time with the inmates, and Mr. Bill Miller that took so many months to train Sarge to come here and be a part of your place. And it's such a it's such a, I mean, it's almost surreal as to how all this comes together for us here today.
I must spoil you.
That's right. I mean, here's a dog that's going to live a wonderful life that at one point had no hope. He was scheduled to be euthanized. There's no words to describe what we do when we give a second chance to a dog or cat, and that's what we do.
All them little scratches and bites along the way, training animals, this brings it all full circle right here. What a great new beginning, huh? It's just incredible.
Good boy, good boy, Sarge, good boy.
It's a roller coaster. It's been a really roller coaster ride, is what it is when you're dealing with shelter animals. But knowing this dog had potential and that he could make somebody happy, and now to see it happen, oh my gosh. I'm thrilled. I'm very proud.
Not spoiled, is he?
He will be. I think he will be.
I think he's going to fit right in here.
If the pet doesn't trust, it won't learn. And if the inmate doesn't trust, he won't learn. So it's this relationship, this human-animal bond that gives the opening for the first time sometimes in our life to love and receiving love, to giving love, and then to learning. And then that's where this change and transformation occurs. It's a beautiful thing. Without it, this program would not exist. It is the core, the essence of this program is that. And that's what Sister Pauline Quinn, the one that started, that's what she said too. And she realized that when she befriended this dog, and it helped save her life. And by seeing that and feeling that, she knew this relationship could help others. You know, it's what's driven me to become a veterinarian.
You see quite the change. There's a guy in the program who's probably been in here about 6 months now, and he was pretty shy and withdrawn prior to entering the program, and now he's starting to get out, a lot more outgoing. He's taking his dog out along the unit and letting other guys pet his dog. He's starting to talk about his dog. He's on about his 4th dog now. He's starting to be a pretty good dog trainer. And so seeing him open up and being able to talk more, that's the kind of stuff when the guy gets out of prison that'll be beneficial to him. Because if he gets out and he's shy and withdrawn, it's going to be hard to get a job or any way to make a living. But if he gets more outgoing and being able to talk to people, he'll be able to do job interviews, and that'll help him a lot.
I just can't think of a program where men and animals are put together in such a way that it is so positive for both animal and trainer. It's just an exquisite program. And I think most all prisons should have those.
And for me, in rescue, if I knew that we needed to save more dogs because we had prisons waiting for our dogs to be trained because there were children who had diabetes or were epileptic or whatever, everybody's winning. We're helping everybody. We're helping the homeless dog, we're helping the child who needs it, we're helping the prison, and ultimately we're helping all of us because we're all improving a quality of life for everybody on this earth. And I think that's what it's really about.
I'd have to say, if you want better people out there in the world, give them a dog and see where they go. You know, teach them how to train a dog. Teach them how to, be loving and caring. To me, that's the main thing right there, is they have something to love, they have something to care for, and to me, that'd be a better community.
I cannot see why prison systems wouldn't want to try this. It's, in my experience, certainly has shown a lot of promise, and that in itself is a statement that I didn't imagine I'd make about rehabilitation of criminals. And it's ironic for me to have spent a lifetime in law enforcement and have you come up with a rehabilitation program that seems to have real, honest-to-God progress. And I can't imagine a more unusual circumstance than having, been brought to this rehabilitation program by a son that in all the years that we talked about this sort of thing, I gave you an impression that rehabilitation, in fact, did not work. So I'm just as amazed and happy to be part of this as I can be. I'm glad I'm alive to see it.
It really is kind of like a miracle. I wasn't just down here a couple days ago. I've been down here 16 years working on this. Yeah. And that in itself speaks volumes for the power and the impact that this has in my life, my dad's life, the inmates here, and then the people receiving these pets. My goal and hope is, one, in the state of Oklahoma, which I love dearly, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I know Susan's, as active as she is in this state. But my goal is to hopefully get this in every correctional facility within this state, to some degree, whether it be, minimum or medium or even maximum, which is kind of what's at Lexington. And then, be able to help, maybe even at some point, be a self-sustaining program where there wouldn't be any financial burdens to the state. Then it becomes a healing rehabilitation program that's effective and it's been proven to be effective. I mean, this is 22 years now at Lexington and has proven itself time and time again at how effective this is. And then hopefully it is across the country, but it'd be neat to see it as part of the veterinary profession across the country too.
I think John's dream is an achievable dream. I think it is a practical dream, and I think it's one of those that, with John championing it and other people, and suddenly an awareness of the benefits, can happen. It takes commitment, and it takes a willingness to give it a try. There are no shortage of dogs.
No,
we
true.
have no shortage of inmates.
That's
we
true.
We just need people like John who can bring them together to create a situation where individuals come out with skills and dogs are trained to go to homes. And as population ages, those of us getting older here are going to need a nice companion.
Right.
I hope that the same light that my father seen here and believed in this place, I hope that each one of them catches a little glimpse of it, because if they do, they can be successful when they leave here. It's really, really amazing to come back here, because I remember coming behind these walls and just being scared to death, miserable, and horrified at having to be here. But today, it's the total opposite. I'm very proud of my father. I'm certainly didn't like the idea that he was incarcerated, but I certainly love the fact that what he gained here. And I hope if they gain just a little bitty piece, they'll do well.
I wrote a letter to the governor and Governor Henry and asked if he would consider paroling Marvin. And so that letter went to the governor, and then the governor looked at Marvin's record from what he had done at the prison program and then decided to go ahead and parole him. And then once Marvin got out, we continued our friendship and our relationship, and I had Marvin come out here to this place once a week for 2 years and help work on this place. And our relationship continued to develop and our friendship developed, and it just became stronger and stronger. And as I'm sitting here today, this is not how this is supposed to end in this documentary. It's not supposed to end like this. It's supposed to end with Marvin sitting here, he and I joking and kidding and laughing and having a good time like we always did. Always kind of playing jokes on each other and things like that. So the doctor came to me and told him that he had ALS. It's like a lump just grew in my chest and my throat, and I said, to the doctor, I said, that's Lou Gehrig's disease, right? And she said yes. And I was not expecting that whatsoever. And then Marvin said, well, Doc, what's that mean? And so I started to explain it to him. I said, well, it's like the spark plugs on a motor. The wires to the spark plugs are coming off, and they're not going to be able to fire. And that's like your muscles and your nerves. That's why you're so weak now. And he said, I'm going to die, aren't I? And I said, yeah. And that was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to tell someone. It was extremely difficult. So, but I was honest with him. I knew I needed to be honest with him. So, and I told him I loved him, and he said, "I love you too." And that's amazing to go. You think to go all the way from a prison, program like that to something like that in a hospital bedroom at OU Medical Center to someone that was in for murder, to be able to say that. That's the power of the program, and that's what changed him, and it's helped change me and make me a better person. So it's amazing. Well, this is the fruit of all the work at the prison. This is what it's all about. When you can take an animal from a shelter, that wasn't wanted, and now is trained by inmates that it's a way for them to give back, and it's a win-win-win situation. The pet wins, the inmate wins, and now these children win here at Washington Elementary. And this dog will now be able to be used for service to help some of these children through difficult times. And that's what this is all about. Right here, right now with these kids and Miss Bowie and the counselor, and then having to come from a shelter where nobody wanted Sunshine to an inmate that a lot of people had all forgotten about. Now all these children want to be part of this dog's life. And it doesn't get any better than that. This is what it's all about, right here, right now. This is the fruit of all that work and labor. And to have something come from so dark to something like Sunshine, right? That's couldn't be any better. The name, to the situation, to the setting here today, and now the years, hopefully, God willing, that Sunshine will be able to help others. And that's the way these inmates can give back too. And that's what this program is all about. So yeah, it's a blessing to be here today.